Hello, hello, and welcome to the daily 1 hour, well, 1 hour or so, political tarot readings here on the Black and Orange channel. I am known as Autumn around here, and this is my fantastic co-host, Boo Boo Zen Kitty. My little positive energy generator, which I need because I'm reading on some of the lowest low lifes to ever live a life low. So yeah. Bum, bum, bum. If you're watching this on replay, down in the first comment, sorry, I've got to put some moisturizer on my hands. If down in the first comment, there will be the questions we cover today. Hello, sweetheart. Doll. Good kitty. And the time stamping. So you can just click on, look at whatever you're interested in. Just click on the numbers, go right to what you want to watch, what you don't, skip what you don't. Skip to the next thing if you want. Just makes it easier so you can get in and get out, because I know that a daily live stream can be it can be a lot of if you don't have the time for all that, but so you can just come in, take your pick, and move on. So what else? 10% of the income that comes into the channel goes to feedingamerica.org, which supplies food to food banks across the country. And I make those donations quarterly, and I tell you guys all about it. It's not a secret how much money I make doing this, which is, it helps with my groceries and supplements. But this is just a little part-time gig. If you just put your questions in the chat in all caps. Anything in all caps is directed at me. And so I know that you're talking to me, and then otherwise just type amongst yourselves, just type normally, because people here are really friendly and really helpful, for which I'm very grateful. YouTube can get ugly, but it doesn't get ugly here. And that's because of you, because of what you're doing, because of your kindness. So thank you. Also, we have the best moderators on the internet. We really do. You guys, you do a Herculean task. You are troll slayers, and thank you. Thank you. So, if I don't acknowledge you or I don't answer your question, it is never anything personal, I promise. I absolutely promise. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not like, oh, it's that person. No. No, I'm grateful you're here. And I'm sure I've forgotten something, but I can't remember what it is. For the month of September and then the first half of October, we're doing this rather than just say Donald Trump is the worst president we've ever had. It's like, you know what? Let's look at them. Let's ask. So every day, depending, well, for September, it's going to be, September 1st, September 1st, first president, September 5th, fifth president, and on throughout the month. Be here on the 16th, we'll talk about Lincoln. So, and we're just going to I'm going to set a timer, and for that timer, and it's 10 minutes. It's a firm 10 minutes. I just talk about so much the person that they were, but it's also going over our past and our, facing the reality of what we've come from. Because as Americans, we are so proud of our country. We are notoriously flag waving, America's the greatest country, on and on. And, that's, when I was fortunate enough, when I was a teenager, I lived in Holland for a while. I was going to a British school in Holland. Long story. But you could tell the Americans, their demeanor, the way they carried themselves, the volume they talked at, and it was, it felt like there's a lot of pressure on me, which I was happy to shoulder, where people really were judging what Americans were like based just on the way I was acting, what I was doing. And I think I stood us in good, I think I made us look okay, because I did not do the ugly American thing. And, and I will quickly tell you that one time they have much smaller grocery stores, and of course, this was back in the day as well. And, one day there was a woman from England who was checking out at this local grocery store, kind of in the expatriate area, and she had 2 full carts of groceries, um, which was unusual. And mom and I were right behind her, and she went to leave, and I said, "Mom, I'm gonna help her." And mom's like, "Oh, okay." So I said, "Hey, can I help?" And I took the second cart, and I helped her get it out to her car, and then I helped her just transfer everything into the back of her, into her car, which of course cars were smaller too, so it was get everything in there. And then she's like, "Oh, I've got it from here." And I was like, "Okay, well, have a great day." And as I was walking away, I heard her behind me say very, very loudly, "Americans are so helpful." And I kind of looked over my shoulder. It was like, "Oh, okay. All right. Good. All right. I have made us look good. This is good." But we have to grapple with our past and our the fact that slavery was legal in our country, the fact that of our intolerable, unconscionable mistreatment of Native Americans, the racism, and the same kind of racism and misogyny that was prevalent throughout the world. So, um, and today is going to be particularly hard, um, because we're looking at Jefferson. And um, yeah, I will say also, I want to throw this in because I think you might find it interesting. Um, just because people, ask me about the White House ghost and all this kind of stuff. Since I started doing this, even just a few days in, I'm feeling almost like in the realm of spirit, because in my view, there's our level, and then there's a level right. It's like right above us, and I won't go into the whole thing, but there's where our guides are that are helping us. They're like right there above us. They're trying to help us, and then people can come from other parts of the spirit realm to this, but it feels like there are some spirits, remnants of spirits. I don't know exactly what of some of these past presidents that I like, because when you open yourself up, apparently you go off like a flare, where it's like, oh wait, she's sending her energy there, So I'm starting to feel a little bit like they've come closer, and I'm starting to get that energy of being in the past. And because it dawned on me that, you know these were really ambitious guys. Let's face it. Even the ones who were more um, humble or more reasonable, or who were not just ego lords, they still wanted to be president. They still wanted to reach that level, which was traditionally the pinnacle of American society. Huh, isn't now, unfortunately, but it was 4 years ago. I'll just throw that out there, in my opinion. But it's almost like it's almost I feel like some of them, it's like they almost want to say, wait, 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 I point out the good things about me. Say I wasn't all bad. It's just like, and then I'm getting the like mental feeling of like thick wool clothing, and that thick wool, the garments that they wore, and the pipe smoke and the cigar smoke and the um, I'm just all this kind of stuff and the wood polish and the um, all this other, and it's just like, guys, but, okay, okay. Anyway, um, thank you, Deborah. So, um, but today, I'm just gonna straight up read. I'm not even gonna time it because this is not gonna be long. This isn't gonna be long at all. Oh, by the way, I'm using the Art Nouveau Tarot, and the link is in the description. And with the exception that I have drawn on some of the cards because, newsflash to artists out there, even the original Rider-Waite, I know it had nudity, but I'll get demonetized if there was some there was some heavy duty, like detailed nudity in this one that I had to do something about. So yeah, please take for readers who on YouTube who don't want to be demonetized. Please take them into account when you're doing your art. Just a thing. But anyway, all right. I'm just going to read on Jefferson because the real question is: was Thomas Jefferson a better president than Donald Trump? I'm going to assume you know quite a bit about him because he's incredibly famous. I have had the fortune I've gone to Monticello, his home, but I went back in the day. Matter of fact, for some reason, I have the feeling I went twice, and I'm not sure why I would have gone twice. But this was back before they had the Sally Hemings display, and before all of that, and they had taken down. I mean, in the 40s, they had knocked down some slave quarters to put up some public bathrooms, and they've put that back in. They were slave quarters when I went, and I'm just. There are some people who are upset about the Sally Hemings display that they have. Oh, are you guys talking about my nails? Yeah. There's Alexandra. Can't anyone recommend a factual book on Sally Hemings? The thing to know about her, and this is the only thing I'll go into about Sally Hemings, bless her. First of all, you have to understand that she was mixed race herself. And this is where it gets even more bizarre. She was Thomas Jefferson's maid when they were in France, when they were in Paris, and slavery was outlawed in France. And she didn't want to go to America. I mean, why would she? But here's the thing. Thomas Jefferson's, correct me if I'm wrong, but Thomas Jefferson's wife died. All right. And apparently he was very upset by that. Great. Okay, fine. Here's the thing where it gets really weird. Sally Hemings was actually Thomas Jefferson's wife's half-sister. Thomas Jefferson's wife's father had an affair that produced Sally Hemings. That's what I read this morning. She was his sister-in-law by her sister. I read this morning that that was the situation. That and that there are no surviving descriptions of what she looked like. But there are no pictures, there are no drawings. Love Julia, true. Okay. Um, and uh, there's there's a possibility that she actually looked a little bit like Thomas Jefferson's deceased wife. Yeah. So they were in France, and she was like, "I'm not going back to America." But he basically, she said she would go back to America with him only if she had extraordinary. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You don't have to hide. He doesn't like visitors. Um, the where was I? Sorry, I just got completely distracted. She would only come back to America if um, she got extraordinary. She would not be a slave, and her children, any children they had, would not be slaves. And so she came back to America, and it's odd. It's like she wasn't a slave, but she was. She was still considered. Her when the children, the 6 children they had, were freed like later. It was, and um, there's the matter of, the sheer power imbalance. So yeah. So on the one hand, as a president, he I mean, okay, this is the man who, to the best of my knowledge, he was the main person who drafted the Declaration of Independence, wasn't he? They were educated also on him. Oh, that's good. That's good. And Dave, good point. All married women at that time were slaves. Very good point. So he 6 kids together is not nothing. Yeah, that's true. So keeping all of that in mind, the question is more specifically, was Thomas Jefferson a better president of the United States? Because let me tell you, spoiler alert for anyone who's forgotten, because it's been decades since I'd studied the presidents. Spoiler alert for anyone who's forgotten. We are going to hit some highlights, some great men, of course, men who have been our presidents, and we are going to hit some slime bags. But as a president, was Thomas Jefferson a better president than Donald J. Trump? Yeah, that whole situation, it was bizarre. I believe it went on that 4 of their children who survived went on and they actually passed as white. I already say yes, Rebecca says. Jefferson helped develop the United States. Trump is tearing it down. And he wasn't a traitor. Things were not yet codified in the way that we think of them being. Things were still, it was still a burden. I believe Jefferson didn't like, is he the one, he didn't like giving speeches. And he gave like two, like one in each of his terms, if I'm remembering that correctly. And he was the one who instituted sending the State of the Union in written form to Congress to be read by a clerk. And it was only reinstated, or it was only instated that the president would go to Congress and give his speech. It was only it wasn't until 1913 with Woodrow Wilson. Cat Shepard saying yes, Jefferson was rather shy. I call him the nerd president. Okay, good. All right. It was a lot more chaotic back then. We really, yeah, it was unwieldy. It was still trying to, if you ever want to win trivia night, which of our presidents have appointed the largest number of Supreme Court justices? And the reality is George Washington, because he appointed all that were. So, all right, decisions. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of chaos, which makes sense. Because was Monroe fourth? I'm so sorry, I've forgotten. Is there somebody? Oh yeah, there was Madison, then Monroe. Okay, so yeah, this was a different, because I know that Monroe, he was very peaceful, surprisingly peaceful during his time. He was known as the time of good feelings or something like that when he was in office. There's picking up on a lot of chaos in the country, and trying to temper it and trying to be a voice of calm. Definitely a man of history. He's always going to, I don't know, there's a childhood aspect here, which is, it's like what I'm getting in my head is he's always going to be associated with children. And it's like, well, that doesn't make sense. And then it's like, yeah, it kind of does, because he's one of the founding fathers. He's one of he's one of the main presidents we learn about in school when we're children, which is one of the reasons people have such a soft spot for him, because he was so important, and because of the children he had with Sally Hemings. But he was a man of history. It was chaotic, but he was trying. The center of his reading is taking on this burden, and temperance. I mean, he's got temperance right in the middle. Whereas if I pull cards on Trump's presidency. Donald Trump's presidency. Oh, look, it's the Justice card. Institution. Pretending everything is fine. Big changes, big movements, victory, and tower. Yep. I'm still annoyed at the suburban white women. I am a suburban white woman. And the ones who were like, "Yeah, I'll vote for Trump this time because I don't like Hillary." Kind of makes my teeth grind. Anyway, I did not vote for this man. I promise you that. But everything's shifting. It's like everything big, huge movement and of things that we thought were institutions. We go from the stability of the institution to everything shifting underneath or shifting, moving. He's victorious, but talk about his victory knocking down so much. Whereas Jefferson, you get decisions, okay, chaotic decisions, but the center of his reading is temperance, taking on the burden, his place in history. The center of Trump's reading is major arcana, change, and the justice card. And it ends in the Tower. So I think we can safely say that Thomas Jefferson was a better president than our current traitor-in-chief. That is my opinion. That's what the cards are telling me. Anyway, so there's that. Okay, so now that I've done that, I want to, there's one other thing. I will get some of your questions, but there was point of privilege. I want to read on something. I want to start with a different, and yet another reading today, a different one, which is all about Rod Rosenstein, Mueller, and the counterintelligence investigation that Rod Rosenstein derailed. Because this morning I was watching Ellie Dreams Down Under, who is great. I like her. I do like, I'm just really liking watching the really good Australian readers out there, because I think they're not in the middle of this energy, which can sometimes it can give them not being as influenced by being in the middle of this mess. Sometimes it's actually good to be reading in the middle of this mess. But sometimes it's good to get a different perspective, and people literally on the other side of the globe. That can be quite useful. So she was reading this morning on that, and I'm curious what I would get on this, because it's time to look back at Rod Peter Pettigrew Rosenstein. And oh, I'm sorry. Is it Rosenstein or Rosenstein? Maria's saying, you know what, Autumn, they should call Trump's presidency the 4-year abscess presidency. Yeah. I can't remember. I used to know if it was Rosenstein. Rosenstein? I want to say it's Rosenstein. But she was saying, if you guys remember, oh, the nightmares we've been through together. Do you remember do you remember when Bill Barr, the Mueller report was released, and Bill Barr basically intercepted it and said, Frankenstein. Thank you, Pank. Frankenstein, Rosenstein. Oh, that makes sense. But he's such a little worm, Peter Pettigrew, little rat fink. Um, oh, Love Jalou, I read on Stephanie Winston's book yesterday. It's in the timestamping. All right, so basically, if you think back, okay, so Barr intercepted the Mueller report, and then they had that, he'd spent like a long weekend basically just blacking stuff out. And then he had that press conference where he came out, and Rosenstein, stood behind him with that really stricken look on his face, like he just like horror or what have you, of look on his face of, while Barr was just going out there saying the president's been exonerated, the on and on. And and what Ellie was saying was she thinks he was acting. He knew what was going on, that he was just acting. And actually, I'll see, I want to see what the cards have to say, because I don't think he was acting. I think it was like everything was coming out into the open, and his role in it was like putting everything out. It's like he was scared. The nightmare before Biden. Exactly, Marcy. I like that. I think he was scared. It was like, we're so going to get caught. Oh, we're so going to get in trouble for this. Oh, everything's coming out into the open. Why is Barr just calling attention to all of this? Dave saying he actually realized he was guilty of treason. He was terrified. Well, I don't know if it's treason, but it was, yeah, he should be ashamed of himself. So I want to know about what's going to happen to Rosenstein. What's going to happen to Rosenstein? And no, I shouldn't start there. I should start with, did they really get away with it? Because by forcing Mueller, who's a straight arrow, to take anything related to the counterintelligence report and giving it to the FBI, and the FBI were like, we thought that was your job, because they were messing with it. They were making sure, he was helping to make sure that Trump was never investigated for being a Russian asset. His actual links to Russia. But where did that information go? Is there somebody in the government who was like, you know what? I'm curious. I want to know. I mean, like, if they decided to do an investigation right now, would they be starting from scratch? DLC, no wonder Rod left so fast after the Mueller report. Live and dodge. Get out of Dodge before it all came out. All right, so did they really get away with it? Did he really get away with it? Anything to make Trump look good. Anything to make Trump look good, no matter what he's done. Yeah, the Emperor. Son. The Son was threatening to really shine a light on the Emperor, looking at his communication, his ties overseas. Yep, kill the investigation. That's Pelosi saying, but wait. Frankenstein. I keep having to say Frankenstein before I say his name. Frankenstein, Rosenstein. Renee saying Rosenstein should be charged with obstruction of justice. Yes, he should. Marcy, okay, we'll talk about the mail-in voting thing. We'll get there. But right now, let's focus on Madam Speaker. Oh, and I did go and watch Marie's table. I did watch the video about her dream. So, because I know a lot of you were saying I really needed to go watch that, so I did. So we'll get there. But so the counterintelligence. What's going to happen with the counterintelligence investigation? Exactly, Rob. It's pronounced Frankenstein. Exactly. It's in pieces, but there are pieces to put together. It's a matter of gathering them together. Trump's business practices. This is the merchant card. On the defensive. That's an investigator, prosecutor's special prosecutor. Fruits of labor. Full. Well, an actual investigator, since it starts with all kind of information about Trump's basically bad business practices that put him on the defensive when he had to declare bankruptcy for the 6th time or whatever. A good prosecutor here in the center could look at the fruits of the labor, how the fool has managed to get quote unquote lucky by laundering money, basically. So the pieces are out there. The pieces are out there. It just, somebody needs to put them together. Okay. Is someone going to? Because if they don't do it now, they don't do it like yesterday. Who cares? What good is it going to do? Ewok, this reality TV reality sucks. Yeah. Is someone going to put them together, this together in short order? All right, Trump the, actually, why don't I just pull them out, because then I can hold them up. Is someone going to put it together? And the cards feel like they needed to come out in order, so that's good. Judgment, big judgment. That's election day. That's looming. The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay, unless, of course, you're Donald Trump. All right, investigations into the corrupt businessman. The kings, all of these cards can have good or bad sides, same like with every astrology sign. This can be a king who is incredibly good at business, who is kind and generous and make sure everyone has plenty. Or it can be the corrupt businessman with all of these weeds of crime bearing bitter fruit that unfortunately we've had to eat. Center of it is crafting, the card of the craftsman. Trump, the corrupt businessman. Investigations, crafting. Which leads to Trump, the man, That's like how he got Mar-a-Lago, how he has his money. Okay, that's grand and all, but that doesn't save the election. I'm not seeing a justice card. I'm not seeing a. So basically, that's it. It's over. As far as he's not going to be held accountable until well after the election, if then. Is that really what's going on here? So, Wormtail Rosenstein gets away with it? Well, it's investigators acting quickly. All right, there is that. For what it's worth. Okay, apparently I can't put these cards are too new and I can't put them up there because they slide. All right. Death card. Death of corruption. Death and corruption, let's see here. 8 of Wands. Somebody's had enough and is turning it around. Who's the thief? I've got a death card, devil card, 8 of Wands. Okay, but a card for the reading. So the overall energy is investigators moving quickly. About the death and corruption and all of the actions that have been taken because of this, coming off of this. But someone grabbing one of those horrible things, grabbing it, turning it around and being like, no, you will not. But then we have the thief card. So what's up with the thief card? Let me see what else I can get here. Three cards. What's up with the thief card? Who's the thief? How many people have died on Trump's watch because he was president? He wasn't removed. He's been able to hide his corruption. How many people have died? How much blood is on his hands? All right, this is the card of charity, giving a little. It's not everything you want, but it's giving a little. The Hanged Man. And then Knight of Cups. Okay, they'll eventually look at it, but that doesn't help us. There's something that comes out. There's something. This isn't complete. It doesn't feel completely buried. There's a little bit that does come out that weakens Trump's support. And then there's this knight who is stepping up. All right, so they've gotten away with it for this long. Something's going to come out, but may just not be everything we want it to be, which is rather infuriating. Putin is the thief. Okay, this possibility. The thing is, though, you know, it's like I'm getting a sense of no, because there's nothing that Putin could do if Trump and his cronies stood up for America. So I mean, it's like, I think the anger with Putin that some Americans are having is misplaced. I think it's like if your husband has an affair and you're getting mad at the woman he had the affair with. It's like, no, the person he had the affair with is not the number one problem. The number one problem is your husband. But you don't want to look at that because it's too close, because it's too, it messes with your own identity, it messes with your own place in the world, it messes with your, so you just want to be angry at the other woman, as it were. Putin is a monster, but he's a monster on a different continent who would not have any of the power that he has if Trump wasn't, and his cronies weren't giving it to him and protecting. So Trump is an employee of Trump Org, which is mortgaged to the hilt too. That could be it. All right, so Rosenstein. What's going to happen to Rosenstein? Wormtail. I mean, just call him Wormtail. Wormtail Rosenstein. Oh, look, all the number of readings I've done where it says Biden is going to win. Biden's going to win. And when Biden wins, all of these jerks, all are going to Bismo. Kaylee, okay, Bismo's saying Kaylee Kakamami kicks off briefing with an attack on Pelosi's haircut. We will be playing the video on loop. Is that a real thing? Anyway, all right, Wormtail. Oh, there are receipts. That's the sort of truth about Trump. Once Biden's in power, we're going to go through it step by step. They're probably, it feels like a new special prosecutor. Once Biden's in office. New special prosecutor, they're going to go through it piece by piece by piece. They're going to together, they're going to look at every piece of dirty laundry. And I have been getting repeatedly that Trump basically, I've never gotten him going to jail, but boy, have I gotten him in legal purgatory, having to go from case to case to case, to courtroom to courtroom to courtroom, to lawyer's office to lawyer's office to lawyer's office, to case to case to case. So what happens to you? Wormtail Rosenstein. Whoa, Tower. Couldn't happen to a bigger jerk. Fruits of labor. Taking this is Mueller. Taking Mueller's fruits of labor. Insult to injury. Saying you're going to give it to the FBI, but the FBI not, but making sure the FBI isn't opening a case over there either. Lying to them. It's just deceit. Just vicious deceit. But just Democrats being able to really look at it and really bring to light what happened and making sure nothing like this happens again, for what it's worth. Oh, your name is Mud. I guess these people, they want power so much that they somehow think that they're not a part of history. And it's like, you I mean, it doesn't matter what you. I don't. I think it doesn't matter what any of us think of John McCain. John McCain is going down in American history as a hero. Period. Whatever things he's done that you didn't agree with, whatever, he's a hero. John McCain is a hero. He is, and he's going down in history as a hero. These guys, that's America. You're going to go down in American history. You reach that level of power where the Library of Congress is preserving your communications, and you are going to be the underhanded slime bag, trying to give excuses about the fool. Trump's going down. Trump is going down. Everybody around him. Oh yeah. Bask in the glory of this, because it will happen. It's going to happen. Entertainment only, YouTube. Just saying, just my opinion. But this is him trying to say, but. So we don't want to hear it. Trump going down. Everyone around him. Suspension. Major Arcana. 2 cards of desert. That's a really bad day. And it starts with him going, but. It's like, no. There's no excuse for what you did. History in the making. Yep. All right, Wormtail. Rosenstein. Okay. And Marie's table. Marie, bless. I hope she and her husband are doing well. Isn't he ill? I hope he'll be okay. She had that dream, and you guys were asking me, a lot of people were asking me about it, to read on it. So basically, the dream was that she had a dream that Nancy Pelosi walked into a room with a bunch of higher-ups in the government, maybe possibly military, or whatever it was, or someone in a dark blue uniform of some nature, but whatever. And she came in and said, we were just going to leave things to the voters, but now that we know that we're not going to know about Russian interference, and we're not going to know about this, that, and the other, we can no longer do that, because people may not be able to vote fairly. And it's so we need to go ahead with whatever their plan is. And the other people are very on edge and very sad, and like, you realize the damage this will cause. You realize how, the blowback on this. You realize and she's like, yes, but it has to be done. And so they're all very, very somber, and they file out, they pat her on the shoulder, and then she kind of kneels down, prays, and when she stands up in the dream, 2 birds came and landed on either one of Pelosi's shoulders. One was an owl, and the other one was a very large bird, and I would assume it was an American eagle. When I was one of the great experiences I've had in my life, and I've had many. When I lived up in Appleton, Wisconsin, if you're ever up around there, at least there was a restaurant down on the river, the Fox River in downtown, and you'd have to go down, but there were these windows that were right on the Fox River with they kind of control the water. They're not full blown, dams, but they're, anyway. But they end up with these like ledges and slight waterfalls and what have you. And there were these bald eagles who were there, and they were getting fish that were coming over. And so you could sit there having dinner and just watch these bald eagles like right there, and it was magnificent. They are magnificent. If you've not been fortunate enough to really see them up close, um, bald eagles are just magnificent. I've seen so many representations, but I had so little exposure to what they really look like in the feather and flesh that I didn't realize they were on the one hand smaller than I thought they would be, but on the other hand they've got these great big chunky legs. They're very solid, but they've got great big chunky legs, and they're magnificent. Just Christine saying I've seen them in person. They're amazing. Yeah, bald eagles are. Oh, here you go, Kat. We have a healthy population of bald eagles here in Eugene, Oregon. They're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But anyway, back to the reading. Yeah, so if you're ever up in Appleton, Wisconsin, have a look for that restaurant. No guarantee they'll still be eagles, but they even have some binoculars around. So it must be a regular thing, or was 10 years ago or whatever. Anyway, so I would. Okay. I think what the implication was, or what from the dream and how somber and serious everyone was. I'm wondering if were they thinking it was going to be like a coup or something. I don't think they need to do that. I would think it would be more a matter of who's willing to go to jail, who's willing to fall on the sword, who's willing to. If Pelosi, they could do things right now. All they have to do, if they're willing to do anything, is spill classified secrets about Trump, what they've heard. So Alexander, she said if they wait for the election, it would be too late. Russia would take over. Let's have a look at that, because I think we need to look at that. If Trump becomes president again, does the influence of Putin spread across the U.S.? Chariot, but that's also Trump possibly being chucked out. So let's see what the cards have to say. Well, there's Pelosi and evidence, like I just mentioned. What I just talked about. Pelosi, knowing she has classified evidence, the fruits of the work of the CIA and FBI or what have you, bringing some of it out against the corrupt politician, so that even the people who've been supporting Trump turn against him. I'm not getting, even right now, I'm not getting Trump's going to win. Definitely be a big movement, but I'm not getting Trump's going to win. I'm just not. Putin. Oh, the wingspan really huge. Yep. The message. TikTok. Justice. TikTok. Justice is coming about. This is communicating across the world. This is justice. Justice is coming. It's major arcana. This is media. This is worldwide news, is what it feels like. And for this group, I got the messenger. No, this isn't. You don't need to worry about that. It's not even coming up in the cards. It's not even coming up in the cards. So then we have to ask, are any of the Democrats going to fall on their sword and divulge classified information to show the true level of danger we may or may not be in? Christine, Truth Warrior, Tarot, Amy, read this morning she saw Trump being removed before the election. Oh gosh, I hope so. I've always been getting him like retreating to Mar-a-Lago. I keep getting retreating to Mar-a-Lago, retreating to Mar-a-Lago. I don't know. Ascento, I feel like Trump committed election fraud, asking voters to vote twice. Yeah. Didn't he also just nullify the election? He should be disqualified. No, he's gonna get his own followers arrested. That's what he is. Leslie, will communism find a way to penetrate America? Leslie, you might be on the wrong channel. All the things I'm worried about right now, communism is not on the list. I dislike communism. Basically, it's exactly the form. It's basically the left's form of fascism. It's ugly, but I'm not worried about that right now. It's not even on the radar. Anyway, Christine's asking what would happen with the election. Would it happen if he was removed? Well, all right. Is someone in the Democrats, are any of them going to fall on their sword? Let me just put that. Is anyone going to fall on their sword to reveal classified information that will show the depths of Trump's corruption? And frankly, it's come out that Russia had bounties on American soldiers, and Trump still is supporting him. Which, if that's not a traitor, I don't know what is. I don't care what the legal definition is. If that's not a traitor, I don't know what is. But anyway. So are any of the Democrats, moving my energy over there, are any of the Democrats going to fall on their swords to bring Trump down? Perhaps ask, is there a whistleblower who will reveal classified info to bring down Trump? Agreed. That's a good thing. That's a good question. There's a death card. There's the Emperor. Oh, yeah. Whoops. Sorry. Here we go. Look at the look on his face. Look at the guy on the right looking at the Emperor. That's us. We are beaten. We are fed up. We are tired. We are looking at Trump like, oh, sorry, let me stabilize my hand a little bit. You big jerk. Senator, the reading is justice. Quiet as a tomb and then happy Democrats. Justice is coming for Trump. It's very strong. Justice is coming for Trump. Card for the reading is the death card, which is technically right next to the Emperor. And we're fed up, okay? But justice is right in the middle. And then it goes quiet. And then we have happy Democrats. All right, so if that's that it's actual justice. It's judicial. What did you just asked me. Oh, will he be removed from office? Was that the question? So will Trump be removed from office for the election? Okay, his records, well, something about him being a businessman. The Trump dynasty, based on theft, being on him being a thief, his children being thieves, yeah, we know that. There's a decision for final culmination, final ending of an era, and then people being on the defensive. I'm getting really strongly justice in the center. Somebody's stepping up. Somebody's going to step up, but it has to do, it's something to do with law. All right, so is that person Cy Vance? You're the next contestant on Save America. What about you, Cy Vance, between here and the election? Some people don't trust him. Cy Vance. His energy's not perfect, but it's not that bad. Star. Oh, he definitely is. He's got a lot of attention on himself right now. His energy isn't that bad. Ian's saying Cy Vance is dirty. Well, let's see. All right. I'll just pull these cards and I'll see what. Okay, I've got eight of wands, page of wands, 4 of wands, 6 of cups, strength. Well, I think Cy Vance might run out of time. Going after the Emperor. Temperance. He's been held back in getting the records for the labor. Something feels like a final puzzle piece being turned over. He's already got a lot of stuff, but there's something about a final puzzle piece being turned over. Got the Emperor, okay. Does that help us? Does that make any difference? I mean, once they get the records, are they really gonna, is the grand jury really gonna, Cy Vance gonna be coming out with announcing the, announcing indictments, within a week or two or something? Is that the October surprise? Trump the bully. Belligerent. There's a lot of, in Trump's records, there's a lot of stuff to get through. There's a lot of stuff to get through. But that's happy Democrats. That's Biden. Oh, yeah. One way or the other, Trump's his downfall is going to be massive. because all of Trump's lies, then I've got downfall, and you'd think, oh, does that mean like Biden's down? No, because it's got ends in Democrat partnership, happiness, Democrat family, happiness, Biden in the center. It ends with happiness for Democrats. This is along with this, but I think it might run out of time. I think we might just run out of time. It's gonna take me forever to timestamp this because I have to do it from scratch. But try Gina Haspel. I can't remember who that is. Name sounds familiar. Dave saying Eric Trump, Eric Prince. I think I can see her face in my memory, but that's who I'm thinking of. American intelligence officer. She's still the director of the CIA? Really? Still? Really? How did she manage that? Haspel. Gina Haspel. Haspel. She's 63. She's from Kentucky. She was previously deputy director under Mark Pompeo. I don't know why you're asking about her. Anyway, all right. Well, actually, that is probably going to do it for me today. I'm so sorry I didn't take any more of your questions directly. I just kind of took them as they came up. Oh, yes, her. He never mentions her because she knows everything. It was part of the waterboarding scandal. Oh, lovely. Oh, is she Torture Lady? Is she the one they used to call Torture Lady? Lovely human being. Death card. Anybody? All right. I'm going to go. But I'm going to be back tomorrow. Seriously. Oh, yeah. Directing black sites oversaw torturing. Yeah, Torture Lady. Gina Torture Lady Haspel. I remember now. Yay. Thanks for reminding me. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much to our troll slayers. You guys are epic. Our moderators are amazing. Thank you. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. And we'll start off with talking about Madison, President Madison, who was 5'4", like me, but he was like 100 pounds. I'm not 100 pounds. I've never been that weight as an adult. Yeah, anyway, but we'll get through this. We're going to get through it together, all right? And just hang in there, all right? You're not alone. We're going to get through it. All right, have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.